Midnight, a cage, a voice so beautiful it almost killed him. Want more insane fantasy stories like this? Subscribe now. When the woman woke up that morning, she froze in disbelief. The familiar lawn outside her home, where she clearly remembered having dinner with her husband the night before, had vanished. In its place stood a dense, towering forest, the trees packed so tightly together that sunlight barely reached the ground. Her heart began to race. She rushed back inside and demanded an explanation from her husband. But instead of panic, he responded with calm confusion. "What are you talking about?" he said gently. "We've always lived in the middle of this forest." Amy felt a chill run down her spine. That couldn't be true. The memory was too vivid. The open grass, the fresh air, the two of them laughing over dinner. A forest couldn't grow overnight. Sensing her distress, Matt tried to comfort her, suggesting she was overtired and needed rest. Reluctantly, she let it go, but the next morning, Amy bolted out of bed and ran outside again. This time, the forest was gone. Instead, a small hill had appeared in front of the house, with a narrow stream flowing quietly below it. As she stepped closer, disoriented and confused, her foot slipped. She nearly fell into the rushing water until Matt grabbed her just in time. Shaking, she thanked him repeatedly, but when she mentioned the incident later, Matt looked at her blankly. He claimed none of it had happened. Even stranger, her clothes were completely dry. Amy began to doubt herself. Matt suggested her mind might still be recovering from trauma. Not long ago, she had survived a devastating car accident, one that killed both her parents. The physical injuries had healed, but the emotional wounds remained. Hallucinations, he said, weren't uncommon. The explanation made sense. Wanting desperately to believe him, Amy agreed to stay home and rest. The next day, after eating breakfast prepared by Matt, she asked one last time before opening the door, "Are you sure it's still the forest outside?" Matt smiled and nodded. Reassured, she opened the door, only to see the grassy lawn again, exactly as she remembered it. Amy collapsed. The scenery felt real, too real. The wind, the smell of the grass, the distant sounds, it all felt tangible, undeniable. Matt suggested she take a walk farther away from the house to clear her head. But before she got very far, dizziness overwhelmed her. The world spun violently and she blacked out. She woke up at home. Now genuinely alarmed, Matt took her to a hospital in the city. After days of examinations, doctors found no physical abnormalities. With no clear diagnosis, they discharged her and sent her back to the cabin to recover. But the nightmare continued. The following morning, Lena, now increasingly desperate, ran outside once more. The lawn had turned into a deep ditch filled with stagnant water. This time, she refused to panic. She pulled out her phone, which she hadn't used in over a month, and took photos from every angle around the house. She saved everything carefully, determined to prove she wasn't imagining things. When she showed the photos to her husband, his reaction unsettled her. He wasn't surprised, he wasn't confused. He simply said he needed to drive out to buy groceries and left her alone. That was when Lena called her psychiatrist friend and told her everything. The response was disappointing but expected. Severe post-traumatic stress, worsened by missed medication. The doctor even revealed she had already advised her husband to keep her hospitalized, but he insisted on taking her home early. Trusting the doctor, her late father's most brilliant protege, Lena finally took her medication. Soon after, her husband returned. She noticed him secretly making a phone call. When asked, he claimed it was a nurse discussing her treatment. But something clicked. She realized she never poured her own water. Her husband always did, and he only drank from bottles with blue caps. Acting on instinct, she swapped the bottle caps, red for blue, blue for red. Later, when her husband unknowingly drank from the wrong bottle, his condition quickly worsened. He complained of dizziness and chest tightness. That was all the confirmation she needed. She pried open the floor underneath the house and uncovered the horrifying truth: wheels hidden underneath. The house itself could move. Everything suddenly made sense. She pretended to be asleep as she watched her husband pack supplies and prepare to move the house once again. When he turned his back, she attacked. The truth spilled out in a frenzy. He had been drugging her, manipulating her perception, moving the house while she was unconscious, deliberately driving her to insanity. Even the car accident that killed her parents had been sabotaged, all for her inheritance. As Lena escaped into the forest, he chased her like a predator, coldly confessing everything, but fate intervened. A passing car struck him, sending him tumbling into the river below. Both he and his accomplice, a nurse, died from their injuries. Lena survived. She reported everything to the police and was hospitalized once more, this time protected. With the help of the psychiatrist who truly cared for her, she slowly healed. She inherited her father's fortune and reclaimed her life. When the doctor later invited her to dinner, she finally understood. Real love had been beside her all along. What she would never know, however, is this. Behind everything, the true master